Hey everybody, hello and welcome to another episode of Saved by the Bell, the Bel Air After Show. I'm your host, David Murphy. Joined with me as always are Leon Nolan. Hello, Leon.
Hey, what's going on, Dave? Happy to be back.
Happy to have you back. And Jossie Clemens. Hello, Jossie.
Go- What's going on? Good to talk about this final couple episodes.
Oh wow, you're coming straight from the actual show
All
set.
right.
That's great,
I
man.
saw
Yeah,
that.
straight from LA. I had to really get into it, as we get to
hmm
the end here. So I had to
Did you
really
go?
live it
Did you
out.
go to Bel Air, like the actual
No, I didn't
portion?
go to Bel Air, but I was in LA. I was in all the areas, saw the palm trees, felt the weather. So I really felt like, I got in touch with my inner Bel Air show.
That's right. And maybe, obviously Leon wasn't in California, but he was in Miami, so that's a good connection to Will Smith there.
Yeah, there
Doing
you
a
go.
little doing a little marathon man running.
Yes, sir.
Cool.
Yes, sir.
Do you want to reveal your time for the half marathon? Are you
Oh no, that I was
that's
just trying to get through that. That was too damn hot. It was
yeah.
too damn hot there. So
Well, at least you
yeah.
escaped all the frozen winter. Of course, now you're back in
Yeah.
Houston, right? So,
Well, I mean, it's warmed up. It was cool last week, but we're in the low to mid 70s most of this week.
okay.
So it's not too bad at all.
No, not too bad at all. All right. Well, tonight we're going to be talking about two episodes from the show, episodes 6 and 7. Then we'll save the series finale for its own episode, hopefully next week. Let's get right into what was happening on episode 6. So in episode 6, Will tells his mom that he's coming back to Philly to go to school. So that's a big news for her and also for us as the audience because we were like, what school is he going to go to? Even though his mom is telling him, you got to go to Stapleton. That's the best school for you. But, Will obviously has, his own machinations in terms of where he wants to go to school. Doesn't we tie down with a coach that doesn't look out for his best interests? Um, and what I liked about this episode too is we got to see kind of the backstory between, Will and Carlton, kind of the pressure being put on Carlton especially was very well pronounced. But what do y'all think of the young Will and Carlton interaction?
What you think,
I'm
Nolan?
just I'm just gonna say I didn't really I mean I knew it was flashbacks, but for me, like I'm not gonna lie, I didn't like pay 100% attention to it because for me it was just I think filler.
hmm
Like I at least from what I was grasping from it. I mean it does give shine light to, their own different, perspectives and paths that they're on. But I think this far into the show, like I was just kind of like, yeah, this is just at this point, just filler just to add to the episode. I don't think it didn't really like make a light bulb cut on, like, oh, aha, like it didn't really explain too much or give too much insight on what I didn't already kind of know or perceive. So yeah, it wasn't much substance for me.
Okay,
Yeah, I think
Jesse.
I was mixed on it. Like I think overall, just generally, I did enjoy this episode. I thought this was probably one of the more solid episodes of the show. But the flashbacks, I think they put them in there to show like how Carlton's been under pressure, since the beginning, and how he's,
hmm
his family's been hard on him. Was that the right choice? Maybe, maybe not. Struggling to fit in. So I enjoyed seeing the dynamic. What I didn't like about the flashbacks was again, and this is kind of like a been in criticism for the show a while is now Will Smith's a math genius and he taught Carlton like how to do problems and stuff. I just feel like the Will Smith like Mary Sue has is getting a little ridiculous at this point. Like this is just a perfect kid. Like now I'm like now he's a prodigy and now he could have went to Baylor Academy, but he just wanted to stay in Philly because he was discouraged. It's like, okay, man, like I like a good underdog story. And even like Nolan said, I like when, characters can kind of rise above, but it just seems like more to the criticism of now Will Smith is just perfect. Now he's even smarter than Carlton. Like, come on now. Carlton can't even have the smarts. Like, and then it's like, dang man, no wonder Carlton hated this man in season one. Like this man is just it's just better than everyone in every way. But it and I'm not exactly sure the message the show was getting across. It seemed like the dad kind of not the dad, but Uncle Phil kind of paid his way for Carlton to get in Bell Academy. It seems like they was
hmm
giving off and they're like, he can't get in. They're like, thank you for your donation. And it's like, I guess they're trying to get across that like Phil would do anything for his kid, but then for me, I kind of took away that Carlton really didn't wasn't fit to make it on his own. I don't know if that was the right message they was trying to get across, but it seemed like that's kind of what I could have got from that. So I don't know, mixed on it. But I do overall, and then we get into overall, I think this was a really solid episode though. Like this is probably one of my favorite episodes. But yeah, flashback wise, they gotta chill with Will Smith just being perfect.
Well, I think that's interesting because it's a different wrinkle, right? Because they paint him as the smarter of the two, but then they
Hmm.
show Carlton obviously trying to excel, and we see where his drug problem came from, and that that pressure that he faced. So it was like he was never as good as Will, but he always strived to be as good as he
Yeah,
could, and he was very successful, right? But it was
yeah,
always because he pushed himself to the limit. Whereas for Will, it's like effortless for him because everything
yeah,
is given to Will, right? I can see that. I like the
yeah,
actors and I like that kind of backstory. I would have liked it maybe a little bit earlier on in the series, as
yeah.
opposed to this far,
Yeah.
late in it. But
That's exactly what I felt like. That's why I said like this far into the story, I was kind of like,
Yeah.
yeah, okay, thanks. Like, but
Yeah,
as
season one that could have been useful when they was really getting into their
yeah,
rivalry and why Carlton may have this edge that he has to be better than Will. I do agree that would have probably fit better last season, or not see last season, but season one when they were really rivals.
yeah. I mean, like I
right.
said, well, we knew when Will came in, he came in like a force to Bel-Air, even without this context that they gave at the very end of the show. That's
Hmm.
why I was kind of like, it doesn't really, for me, it didn't really add anything. Like, it was like, oh, okay. Like, hearing that, I was kind of like, all right. But I mean, I feel like we're past that at this point. Like, we can move on with the story. So, but nah, Joshie, now that you bring that up, like, I totally was not thinking about that. But yes, once again, Will is Mr. Perfect. Like not, and he doesn't wrestle. He's just Mr. Perfect in general. So,
Yeah,
so
like this man
yeah,
is a second coming, bro. Like, god dang. I know Will Smith funded the show, but come on, man. Give yourself some kind of flaws that aren't like
yeah,
fake strengths, like you care too much. But
Well, he's the prince for a reason, right?
he's a prince for a reason, yeah.
It's not Prince Carlton.
But but what do y'all feel about the school choices? I mean, my man Carlton going to Morehouse, coming to the A, and
All right,
then
so we're
Will,
jumping to episode 7. Okay.
oh wait, is that the next one? Dang,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
okay.
yeah. They did announce that at the
I'm
jump
confusing it
us.
too.
All
Oh
right, well
yeah, I do
let's
have it in
talk
my
about
wrong
this.
notes.
Carlton's going to Morehouse, which is historically a historic HBCU
Hmm.
Yeah,
in Atlanta. I had to look that up. And then Will is going to UPenn. So it's the
yeah,
number one business school. So he'll still be playing basketball. And I think the characters in the moment made the comment that, oh, look at Carlton going to an HBCU and Will going to an Ivy League. Who would have thought that? So what do you guys think of the school choices for the boys?
yeah.
I
Sorry to
was I
jump to
was
episode 7 real quick,
confused.
but
I'm not gonna lie, I was
Okay.
really confused by it. Largely because like I said, like for me it was a big plot hole. Carlton literally said he wasn't applying anywhere else. So I'm just trying to figure out when did he apply to Morehouse to then get into Morehouse and now go to Morehouse. So that confused the hell out of me seeing that. And then I think likewise for Will. Um, I'm trying to, maybe I missed that conversation or something, or maybe I missed it for both of them. When did he apply for UPenn? Like, I know he was, trying to use the basketball thing. He did to like the little, late high school talent run, talk to the Stapleton coach or whatever. So I'm just, I know we had these time jumps, and I know they kind of do like comments in passing, kind of to I guess patch up the plot hole, but I just can't recall where these two guys did these complete 180s to what they were doing and where they were going and ended up where they're at. I mean, I'm not knocking it, I guess, from a story's perspective, but for me, that was just like I was kind of like, what? Like, did I miss something? Like, I wasn't sure if I missed that conversation. So yeah, that's my 2 cents on it. Maybe you guys can answer some of the questions I presented.
Well, it seems
yeah,
like
that popped into me.
they applied to both colleges pretty late in the process, but honestly, I mean, I'm so far removed from that process and I never actually went to college right after high school. So I don't know. I mean, what's the kind of like period of time that would be realistic for you to apply to these types of colleges and get accepted, like before you graduate
Well, I
senior
was
year?
wondering that too, Nolan. So I know for at least Carlton, they threw a line in there that was like, why are you stressing over Princeton when you do have a lot of other offers? So they threw that in there, I guess, to cover the fact that he applied to a bunch of schools. Now him applying to Morehouse, I never even would have like considered him doing that, considering he probably looked at HBCUs or non-Ivy League schools as not an option. And I so post that talk with Cuz, where he decided, maybe he doesn't want to go through that experience again. I don't know if there was enough time for him to apply to Morehouse in that window. Maybe, maybe not. But they made it seem like Will had to pull a miracle to apply to UPenn. So, so yeah, I guess the show tried to hint that maybe he had applied to Morehouse as a backup, but I don't. I agree. I don't totally buy that all the way. But as far as Will and UPenn, I think that was what this whole episode was about when he was like
Hmm.
really like trying to pull the strings, hitting his business partner, hitting the coach, this and that, connecting the dots. That was all to reveal that he was going to UPenn. So it realistically it wasn't possible, but of course mountains will be moved for Will Smith. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna move mountains, they're gonna change highways, they're gonna do whatever it takes to make sure Will's successful. So yeah, that's how we ended up at UPenn. The lunch lady chimed in,
The mayor of Bel
was it
Air spoke on his behalf.
the mayor of BEL-AIR, God himself sent something down. You know what I mean? Um,
Oh man, yeah, yeah. Because I mean, even just thinking about how prestigious both institutions are, yeah, I mean, it's definitely something that you want to apply early for because
yeah,
once, yeah, I mean, they're trying to, filter it out and get the best of the best and accept it. I mean, now obviously everybody that gets accepted is not gonna actually go there, so then that opens up more seats. But yeah, it was just kind of like to me, it didn't feel as organic. Now that you bring up some of those things, again, maybe I just wasn't connecting those dots, Josh, at least
hmm
for Will's sake or whatever. But yeah, I mean, for Carlton, Morehouse, like Morehouse is hard to get into. Like
yeah,
I know plenty of people just from my own high school, and it was a all black school, that aspired to go to Morehouse. I mean, go to the CAU in general.
yeah,
Oh, that's Clark Atlanta. I'm talking about the AUC. And that's the Clark Atlanta, Spelman,
yeah,
Morehouse, that whole little district or
hmm
area where all those colleges are kind of like right next to one another. And I mean, I know plenty of people that were stressing about getting into any of those particular institutions. So yeah, it's like I said, for me, from a realistic point of view, I was kind of like, yeah, I must have missed some dialogue. And then two, at the same time, it's kind of like it's also hard to get into these particular places too. So I'm really like scratching my brain. Like, where did I just like zone out on a conversation somewhere or something like where they were
yeah,
sending these applications off? So yeah, it doesn't really fit to me. But like I said, we're two, three episodes from ending this. At this point, it just is what it is. We know Will is by the end of episode 8, he's going to be running for the presidency of the United States, and will probably be a favorite to win over Donald Trump or something along those lines. So at
yeah.
this point, so yeah, I'm just trying to get through it. Trying to get through it at this point. So, but I mean, actually, now that we're talking about that, I'm actually am interested to see that since Will, and I'm just throwing this out there, I don't think this was covered at all. I'm interested to see Will's mom's, I guess, reaction to him coming home, because we got
hmm
to remember also his dad's going back home.
Very true.
So
Forgot
Yeah.
about that.
So,
Hmm
now it's kind of like, she was like, hey, go get a degree wherever they paying for it. And now he's made this happen back home where his dad, ironically, well, I guess I would say him getting into UPenn is ironic because his dad, we already knew his dad was heading back to Philly. Now
Hmm.
everybody's kind of back together. I mean, they're probably not going to cover that, but for me, that just gets the questions kind of popping up in my mind. Like, I wonder how all that's gonna kind of boil out with him being back home, being back in his neighborhood with his old friends, but having the experiences and the education that he got on the West Coast and now going back east. So yeah, I mean that's just for us to interpret ourselves, but
Yeah.
just
So is
things I'm thinking
Morehouse
of.
a all men's college?
It
Yeah,
is.
all male school.
And is it like amongst the HBCUs the most prestigious of them, or do they classify
I
HBCUs?
wouldn't say it's the most prestigious, but it's one of the more prestigious HBCs. I mean, yeah, Spelman, Morehouse are like the all girl school, all guy school connect kind of like right next to each other. But it's up there, it doesn't have it's not that's like it has a lot of history,
Yeah, it's
so a
got
lot of
like a lot
people
of distinguished alumni. Like I
yeah.
believe
Hmm.
MLK was a alumni of
Yeah.
Morehouse.
Oh, wow.
Let me actually
Yeah, I believe he was a I mean they have I mean actors, writers, have
yeah,
all
Samuel L. Jackson, MLK,
yeah.
John David Washington, Spike Lee. It's like a lot of legends. That's the school, if you're trying to have that reputation in Morehouse.
Cool, cool. Of course, Carlton had to go to a prestigious HBCU. It couldn't just be any HBCU.
Yeah. But you know what though? I did enjoy the Ivy League drama as far as in this episode, as far as the decision and what's going on. And I think Carl they raised some good points about why even though I do think, I wish these doubts were kind of like we talked about last a little later, a little earlier. It seemed like came out of nowhere, like 3, 4 seasons he's trying to go to this one school, and then 2 episodes later his mind is switched. But I think the points they were making about what it's going to take for Carlton, why he maybe changed his mind were valid. And I do like even the saying that we talked about last episode with Will, and we're like, why are you trying to like you're not about to be a CEO at like right now. I think that was cool that his mom brought that up. He said, boy, you're not about to be a CEO at 18. Like you can go to school, like you're doing too much. At least they did address that, what the audience was thinking. But I mean, yeah, and in real life, mountains weren't gonna get moved for him to go to an Ivy League school, and so, but I guess in this show, it worked out for the best. But yeah, I think Carlton's gonna shine at Morehouse. I think he coming to Atlanta. I think he's gonna have fun. I think it's gonna be a different experience for him. So I was kind of excited
Oh, let's
about.
let's not let's not forget Amira is going to
Oh, and she's going to
uh
Spelman, right? Or where's she going?
either she's going to
No,
Emory
Tech.
or
She's going to Georgia Tech.
Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech. That's what it is. Yeah.
So yeah, they about to be two peas in a pod.
Well, they almost
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. In episode
is this
7,
the
yeah.
episode or is that the
Nah,
next
that's
That's
episode?
seven.
episode
Yeah, that's
7.
seven.
All
We
right,
already
all
skipped
right, all
six. We can go back to
right.
six though, because there's some stuff we
Let-
got to get into.
well,
Yeah.
we'll get to that in a second. So, Phil is called in to be interrogated about money laundering. So the feds have catch up to him, or the DA is actually on his side, and trying to get him off the hook because essentially, he was keeping the DA involved in all this. As soon as Jeffrey told him about what was happening. From our perspective, it looked like, okay, he's just going to fall in line with what Jeffrey wants. But nope, he was keeping the DA in his back pocket the whole time. But of course, the feds don't just want, what Phil is saying. They want Jeffrey to essentially get them some inside information on the big wig, his sister, and turn her in. Uh, of course, we see this resolve later on in the series, but in this particular episode, we're like, oh, what's going to happen? We see that Jeffrey and Phil kind of come at odds with one another over this because they both know what's going on with each other because Jeffrey knows everything. Of course, he didn't know anything
Yeah,
until now, but what do we think about this sequence of events here with kind of I liked how Phil was keeping like he was smart, right? He
yeah,
wasn't playing dumb. Like he knew what he was doing and he was playing the right game to protect his family at the end of the
yeah,
day. So still not off the hook, but yeah, we'll talk
yeah.
about that in episode 7, but
And I gotta say, I underestimated the writers, so I gotta put my foot in my mouth and say I appreciate them for kind of circumventing my expectations, only because the writing hasn't been the best. overall. So I assumed that what we saw happening was really what was happening. Because remember last podcast, I'm like, it was. I don't like how Uncle Phil was like just going along with it. I'm like, there's gonna be real repercussions. Like, I'm like, this man has to have a better plan than just money laundering and thing is gonna be okay. So I really didn't think the show. I knew they was gonna get him out of it, obviously, some way, somehow, but I didn't expect them to go about it that he was like double playing everyone the whole time. So I do give the show credit to that because I did like that he was smart. Like I said, he kept the DA involved, which is what you got to do. There's a what's that movie, The Departed? Y'all seen that movie?
I've seen
Um,
that. Yeah,
Who's in it?
Marky
yeah,
Sounds
Mark,
familiar.
Leo DiCaprio.
yeah, it's like Leo DiCaprio. I think it's Matt Damon. Who directed? Martin Scorsese directed. But it's funny because like the one guy, I think it was Leo who was who was in the gang side. It was like the one guy knew his files, and if that guy was gone, no one would have known he was undercover. But similar that like the DA knew what was going on the whole time, and that's who he kept as his right hand because like he was, and the DA made sense, the district attorney of LA. So it's like if anyone can that they, I mean, luckily they were friends. But if
Right.
anyone that you have on your side, the DA is gonna make sense. So yeah, I crossed through. I did like to see how they spun it. Uncle Phil. Sidebar, they gave him hair in that flashback was hilarious. But
Hmm.
and I don't know. That journey was a little interesting how they executed
Yo,
that.
that was terrible. Yo.
I was like, yo, okay, we could have done a little something different.
Oh man, that
They
was
took a Sharpie and
terrible.
was like, but 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 yeah, Uncle Phil, man, he had it. The writers got me. I give it to him. He's not as naive as they were trying to make it seem. I knew he was smarter than that.
Yeah, but Phil's obviously being ready to go in case. And the episode kind of played it like, oh, well, if he does go to prison, he's setting up things, to make sure, his son can take over and all that stuff when he was saying like, hey, everything's over here and here's how to get access to my files and yada, yada, yada. Right. Like, oh man, he might be going up the river. And of course, Viv is like thinking, oh, you're going to go up the river. Is this going to be okay? And he's
But
trying to
see,
reassure
to
everyone.
that point, I understand that as far as like let's if anything goes left, because obviously it's not like 100% foolproof
Hmm.
plan. But my question, I maybe a slight plot hole, maybe y'all understand it better, is when Viv found out that last episode that Uncle Phil was about to be investigated. Like when they went to Jazz's and they're like, we need to investigate Phil. Um, and Aunt Viv hears it from her friend who was smashing Jazz. My question is, Viv then started to panic. We see her start sweating, panicking, going crazy, picks up the phone, calls Phil, and that's when the episode cuts. Phil doesn't pick up, she starts crying. But it seems like in this episode, that was a plan the whole time. They even tell Jazz, we knew you were going to get investigated. I kept you in the dark. Once this happened, this was my plan. So I'm curious why Viv was kind of freaking out. If it seemed like this episode, everything went according to plan. Like they knew that it was going to be. They even said we went with a dispensary because y'all were going to be investigated more heavily because this is a dispensary. Like that's the number one target already on law enforcement. So that's why they went with Jazz, and then that's how they knew they were going to find out. So I was just thought it was and maybe it's a plot hole. I don't know, but like Viv did start freaking out right when Jazz looked like he was under investigation in a previous episode.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll talk about the investigation, how it turns out in the next episode. Let's go and talk a little about Viv. She had a little health scare with the baby, brought over a doctor who was basically useless, and Hillary came to the rescue with some home remedies of her own. And we also put her on her live stream. And apparently, there were people on there saying, like, oh, I've had the same issue. It's a liver thing. It's called cholestasis. And then, again, we kind of see that play out. I like the kind of mother-daughter bonding there and how, again, we tie it back to, Hillary's social media following, right? That's always been her thing from the very beginning of the series. That she's a social media influencer. So using essentially her superpower to save her mom.
Mm.
Although not save her, she was never under, I don't think she was going to die, but
Yeah,
I like that
Mm.
moment.
yeah.
Yeah,
It
I mean
was it was
they had to give
interesting.
us something. Yeah, they had to give Coco
I
Jones
mean, Coco
something.
Jones is back. Let's talk about that.
That's right.
Yeah, they had to give us something. Like I'm just so tired of hearing about Costa Rica and everything that she did and learned and the people and blah blah
Right?
blah.
I
I'm
need to go
like,
to Costa Rica. I'm like, bro, she
I'm
don't learn the secrets to life in that in
right,
Costa Rica.
right. The whole and my whole thing was like when they was on the live and taking, this advice from people on the net. Like, there's no way. Like, I'm not, you are not health professionals. Like, I mean, I understand the document you actually had didn't care, but I'm not about to have random blank profile on the net tell me something and I just run with it. Like, I was just kind of like, yeah, nah, this ain't it. This ain't it. Like, mess around. Somebody Googled something and told you something, and now you worry your mom about to die because again, you just running with whatever answer somebody gives you. I was just like so totally unrealistic. But at the same time, it's kind of like, I mean, I guess when you live in that kind of world, like that social media first world, like a lot of people when they go to TikTok or they go on their Instagram live and stuff, like they live for that. Like that's reality for them. So maybe they don't, maybe she's written in a way that's that's truth for her. Like for me, like anything like that, I'm gonna question. Like I just can't. Yeah, I mean, even though that person's intention might be good, like it might be something. Oh yeah, so symptoms line up. Like it's still like okay, thanks for that. I'll look into it, but I'm not about to just be like, oh, the first answer that comes up, like, oh, that's what it is. Thank you for that answer. So
Yeah.
yeah, like I said, they just had to get Coco Jones something. She back, she's not on tour or dating or whatever it was, and that reduced her to FaceTime only the first few episodes. So
I
they're
mean, the
definitely giving
interesting
her
thing is,
things.
I guess it may be a commentary on, how like especially women, especially black women in the medical aren't listened to or taken as serious in the medical field
Hmm.
or by medical professionals. I think, statistically, black women are more likely to die in childbirth, more likely to die in other areas because of they aren't treated with the same amount of urgency as other races. But yeah,
Right.
they're gonna throw in that social commentary in here a little bit. But I guess I looked at the TikTok thing kind of like Reddit because sometimes Reddit will be spot on. Like there'll be some specific scenario, like I tripped on this rock on this day, and someone on Reddit done the same thing. It was like, yeah, this is this condition. but
Hmm.
Oh, I
but
mean,
yeah, I mean,
yeah,
I just
I'll be on Reddit like that too. No, I'm
yeah
not saying like you can't find truth. And I'm not saying that what this could not have been truth. But again, like on those same Reddit threads that I'm searching for answers
yeah
for,
you
like
going to
I'm
verify.
generally gonna read
Yeah
all
yeah
comments, and
yeah
then I'm gonna still go and like like just do a sidebar and research. Like, is this plausible? Like, is this something I can use to
yeah.
fix whatever I'm doing, whatever I'm researching at that moment? So nah, I'm not knocking it, saying it was a wrong answer. I can't remember if they confirmed if that is what she had or not based off of
I
what
think
they were
they did
told.
confirm it, but yeah, I see what you're saying. They didn't really go into like verification. They just kind of
Yeah.
went with, oh yeah, this is it.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, that was just my whole thing. I was kind of like, let's not send the wrong message to those that are gullible out there. That's
And no, you know what I thought that too, because there's just a problem when people not believe in medical professionals. So it's like dicey situation because you got to advocate for yourself definitely and do your own research, but also it's like there's a kind of trend now where people aren't believing doctors and they're like, well, I read on Reddit that it's this or Facebook group told me it's this, and
Hmm.
doctors are getting frustrated with the misinformation out there. So it's a fine line. I don't know exactly where what's the best answer to it is because there are situations where doctors are wrong and people advocated for themselves and got real results that if they had just went home and they would have could have possibly even been killed. But also it's like you say, yeah, like TikTok telling you something. TikTok is one of the biggest sources of misinformation in the world right now. So it's like let's trust verify what's going on. But
I mean, even to expound on that, like AI, like I've heard plenty of. I mean, I'm in IT, so I talk to
yeah,
people all the time, both in and outside of my department, and they tell me all the time, like, man, I went to such and such AI, and I typed in all these
yeah,
symptoms I had, and they said it's either this or this. And like they literally brought it to, their doctor and saying, like, hey, like, this is what I'm thinking it is. And the doctor confirmed it was one of those two things. So I mean, it's like I said, it's not like out of the realm of possibility. Again, I'm not discrediting the anonymous people on the net. I'm just saying, like, let's not condition
Yeah, give
ourselves
the wrong
to,
message. Yeah.
yeah, that first thing that comes up is like, oh man, yeah, they said it sounds exactly like what they had, and let's do that. Like, nah, let's not send that message.
No, I mean, it sounds like she probably got a second opinion from another doctor who confirmed what
Yeah.
the online followers were telling Hillary. So, yeah, yeah. So just interesting to see how that play out. So glad they're identifying what's going on with her. And then Ashley had a little bit of story this week where her boyfriend got detention for wearing a skirt because he is they, them. And Ashley gets detention for wearing clothes that are tattered. So she finds solidarity with her boyfriend. Or what, I don't know, what would you call him a boyfriend? I don't even know what they call each other, but I don't know. Nice to see Ashley get another moment. Story beat.
Yeah, they don't really know what to do with her. Like, and I think the things that they are trying, the things that they are trying to latch on to her or give her some flesh out her character. Like nobody cares. Like I don't think anybody really cares about the crusade to wear a skirt, like in school. Like I just just being 100% like transparent. Do I care? Like, I mean, I don't really care. Dress however you want to dress, but at the same time, it's like I don't see how this pushes the person forward other than putting her in another predicament that's gonna make her mad and she's gonna possibly respond in a negative way because of that. So
Yeah, this
It's
is
in
giving
line with her
Ashley something to
character.
do.
She's been the sort of gender crusader, sexual identity crusader the entire series.
Yeah. I mean, it was whatever. We can go into the next one. So that was I mean, it was really much to talk. They just giving Ashley something to do. But I mean, I understand that the sentiment of like, you should be able to wear what you want and like technically you know, technically he was in dress code or they was in dress code because those are the options.
Yeah,
But it's whatever. Shout out to Ashley for having someone she can confide in and they work well together. Shout out to that.
right. All right, and then the last story beat was Regina Baxter making an appearance to see Viv's painting, and she's not initially liking the painting, but then she warms up to it. I didn't really know what to take from this little story beat, but I don't even remember it being discussed earlier in the season or in the. Were you guys anything to take away from this besides,
Well,
hey, look, we can see Viv's art?
the takeaway from this was Miss Tyra Banks making
Mhm.
a cameo because
Right.
she played who was it
He played the
uh
original, not Lisa, the other one in the
oh
show.
Jackie.
Jackie. She played the original
Yeah,
Jackie.
yeah, yeah. So I think this show has been coming hard with the cameos. I will say over its course. So it was cool to see Tyra Banks back on TV. I'm not sure what the message of that point was. I know originally Viv was like kind of anxious and nervous that she was there because I guess she, those trauma of college when she was above her and now it's like she's below her. But it ended on a good note, I think. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure what to take away from that, but it was interesting.
Just a high level cameo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
we'll talk about cameos more when we talk about the last episode, but
yeah.
But anyways, all
But
right, well that's
it was
pretty
cool to see
much it for
Tyra.
episode 6. Yeah, we have another cameo in episode 7, I believe. That's pretty important. Might as well get into that since we're talking about cameos. We have and meet the midwife of Hillary, who is none other
Skin on
than
Viv.
the original Aunt Viv. Yeah.
Oh, that was her. I didn't realize that was her.
What?
Yep.
Are
Oh, she did a
you
really good job too. Okay.
what, man? As soon and and I don't know if you saw that, but she was like, I felt like I've known you my entire
Yeah.
life. And I'm like, yeah, like of
Oh,
course,
that's
because
crazy. I don't know
you the
why I didn't make that
OG.
connection, man. I did
Yeah.
Well,
watch it when I was sleepy, but okay, they brought
mhm.
her back. It's funny because we talked about early in the podcast, like season one ish, that we were like, there could be some opportunity for them to reunite. I don't know if y'all remember that. I think they brought that up, but look, it actually came to full fruition.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, I
No,
mean
it's great to
they
see
had
her
the light
back.
skin on Viv in like season two, I believe.
Yeah,
Whenever Viv was doing the
yeah.
starting off
Light Skin
our
Out Biz
painting
was
stuff.
already in here. Yeah.
Yeah.
They what OGs have they brought back? They brought Tyra Banks, light skin Aunt Viv, dark skin Aunt Viv, the original
Jeffrey.
Jeffrey.
Hmm.
Hmm.
Um, yeah.
Um,
They brought back
who
the
else?
original, not Hillary,
Oh, yeah. Lisa.
Ashley.
Oh, actually,
Oh yeah,
not
original
Lisa.
Ashley. Yeah, she was the teacher. Yep, yep. She
Okay, yeah,
was the
they
teacher. The
done
only one they
try to
missing
do.
is Karen Parsons. That's the original Hillary. Will Smith, the original Jazz. Who else was prominent on that show? I mean, well, obviously Uncle Phil passed away,
The
so
original
The
Carlton.
original Jazz
original
actually,
Carlton. Yep.
the original Jazz hosts the podcast, the companion podcast that I forgot about. I forgot they actually did that. Season 1, I was actually really listening to that, but yeah, so it's funny he's still involved in the show somehow, some way. But
Which they stopped after the first season.
oh, did they? Dang,
Mm,
Yeah, the companion podcast only lasted one season. Apparently, the
dang, that was cool. Man, they had
ratings
Terrence
weren't
Martin
there.
on there. They would have some OGs. It was a cool little podcast.
Excuse me. Yeah, so she's introduced. She's the midwife. Her name is Iris, and yeah, she's basically the rock that Hillary needs, or not Hillary, Vivian needs because she wants her mom. She doesn't have her mom. She had her mom for all the other birth of all the other kids, and so she's missing her mom, and she kind of expresses that sort of fear that she has, and Iris is there to kind of help her through, and then she kind of gives Phil the assignment to get everything ready for the birthing, right? To get everything ready so that they can go to the hospital. And that's kind of his assignment. Um, is that happening? Okay. Yeah. So, and then let's see what else. A lot of things happen this episode. The kids are wondering where Jeffrey is, right? Because they did the big celebration and unveiling of all the colleges, and the whole family's there, but Jeffrey isn't there. So where's Jeffrey? So, the kids make out a video to Jeffrey, trying to get him over there, and then of course, we find out the reason why he's not there is because he's being an undercover mole for the feds to try and get his sister uh, basically to confess her crimes. And so there's this big tense scene where he's going to his sister and they're having a lunch or whatever at this bar that I guess she owns. And it's like, oh, tense, oh man, because they show him he's gonna get a wire on him, but when they actually do the scene, dun dun dun, he doesn't have the wire. So I wonder what was going on there. And then, eventually comes back and he gets the thumbstick, or I guess he gets the thumbstick at that time that has all the details he needs to, send his sister up the river. But I mean, I like that sort of sequence of events because it did sort of play. I was like really worried for Jeffrey there, like, oh man, he is gonna get killed. His sister's gonna kill him for wearing a wire. I don't know. What you gotta think of that whole scene?
Yeah, I thought it was
yeah,
cool.
he,
It's
he was
funny
on
when
edge.
the show tries to dive into its power bag where I'm like, Israel really tries to be power a couple of times. But the scene when when everyone gets up, like they're eating at the restaurant, and it's like everyone in there is like not a spy, but like with the sister. I was like, oh yeah. But it's kind of a cop out because they show him putting the wire on and then he doesn't have it, and they didn't really explain in between that like why he took it off. Like if he thought it was a dumb idea because they were going to strip people and never put it on in the first place. So I am not exactly sure the resolution. I was thinking it was going to show that maybe it was in his on his leg or something. I don't know, but they never really concluded why he didn't have the wire on. But it was tense though. It was a tense scene. I was worried for Jeffrey. Back to even what you was mentioning with Viv and the midwife. I did think that was a pretty powerful scene, where she was, claiming for her mom, and this like real vulnerable moment for her. And like, she was kind of getting that energy through the midwife, and she had to tell Phil that, Phil, you're, bringing this anxiety and all this into the room right now. And, that energy is being contagious. So I need you to center yourself and focus. I thought that was powerful, especially because, our relationship with our parents, once they pass, and at this age, just like you do need to channel that, that energy, that feeling. And you also make a good point. I didn't realize that her mom was at every birth. So her not being there and then her being in such a state where, she could very well pass away. It's like, it's a very emotional sequence. And I thought they handled the emotion well from a filmmaking standpoint.
I agree.
Mhm.
Yeah, only thing
Yeah.
I really gotta add on to all that is just the unbelievable part at the beginning when everybody's like, "Where's Jeffrey at?" I'm like, Jeffrey ain't been here for weeks. Like, why all of a sudden, like, we looking like it's not even like. I mean, I understand it's a big moment, but it's like, let's be real here. Like, we doing these time jumps. Jeffrey clearly has not been around. The only person that's really seen him has been Phil and Vivian, and him sneaking in and out the house through whatever he does, because it's clearly not the front door. And yeah, everybody's kind of like, well, I mean, no, take that back. That wasn't the thing that they were asking where Jeffrey is. I could see one of them asking, but it was just kind of like all of them were like, good, where's Jeffrey at? You're right. And they all got their thinking caps on. I'm like, come on, man. And then they do the rehearsed message to him. Yeah, because Hiller's like, Jeffrey always answers for me. I'm like, if Jeffrey is is like waist deep in some BS right now, he's not answering. Like he's got to get he's got to worry about himself right now, man. I'm sorry to break your heart and everything, but that was like the only thing I was just kind of like I just rolled my eyes at. Like, but say all that to say, Jeffrey played his part, and to everybody's agreement that at the table with his sister, like I don't know what it is. It's like she's not she has like the aura that Jeffrey had the first couple of seasons. It's like she's
Yeah.
stolen that aura. Like when she's around, like it's a oh shit type deal
Yeah.
happening. So yeah, she definitely was on some like, why are you trying to rush this? And he's like, I'm trying to get to business. I'm trying to hit the ground running. And she's like, well, yeah, take your shirt off. And yeah, that whole thing, I was like, oh, they about to get my boy. Like, oh no.
Dang, yeah, I was worried for my man, though.
So yeah, that definitely wait, didn't they kind of like didn't they have that like flashing in and out of like something else happening? Was that when Vivian was giving birth? I can't remember.
I think they may have been going back and forth a little bit.
Because
Yeah,
I feel like there was some. It wasn't just that restaurant scene. Like it was showing Jeffrey, then it would go somewhere else. I just can't recall where what other scenes they were kind of splicing in happening elsewhere. Um, was it the senior lock-in? Like it was something that was kind of like it was both very tense moments that was happening. So yeah, that just kind of added to it. But obviously, like I said, the whole Jeff. Excuse me.
LR scene got him choked up, man. He worried.
That's right.
He worried about Jeffrey.
Well, I'm glad that Jeffrey is okay and that he isn't going to go to prison because, Phil was like, I am so sick of this dude because he's not responding. He was very much like ready to just throw Jeffrey to the wolves to save his family. He was ready there. But, Jeffrey came right, and, did the right thing, even though that meant having to turn in his sister. But, at the end of the day, he had to do what's right for, himself and his surrogate sort of
Yeah, but
brother.
I'm worried about Jeffrey's safety. After like snitching on an organization like that, I feel like you got to go into witness protection or something. Like they run deep and they gonna know exactly who turned them out. But
Yeah, yeah, I gotta imagine there's other people within the organization who are gonna,
yeah,
follow up.
his, yeah, I don't know his son, his girl, Phil. I feel like everybody in danger. Like I don't know. I mean, I don't think the show wants us to take that away, like take that message away. But from a audience standpoint, I was worried. Like yeah, like everyone's in danger.
Mm-hmm. That's right. No one is safe. Anyways, the kids go to get back to the kids' story. The kids do a lock-in, sort of like a senior lock-in thing, and this is where some drama happens because during this period of time, there is a portion where essentially Will and Lisa are tempted to cheat on one another. And surprise, surprise, we find out that Lisa decide to cheat, and Will, surprise, surprise, decide not to cheat. And,
Surprise, surprise. He makes no mistakes. Of course,
he
he
is
does
the
the right thing.
virtuous one. But he plays it off
I'm
like
like,
he
dang.
did
I'm
cheat.
like, finally to give Will a little bit of grittiness, some flaws. Nah, he said, "Nah, I'm gonna deny these tatas, and I'm gonna just focus on Lisa."
Yeah, but being backing up, like I see it on the notes, but the whole black sis early in that day, like we're still dealing with this crazy name concept and where this girl gets introduced or whatever. And like it's so funny, like it's funny to me how the character that's usually um getting pressed on by somebody of the opposite sex or a interest in the show or whatever, they're always oblivious. Like when she first comes up and she's like, "Oh yeah, well I'm going to UPenn too," and this and that, and like Will's just kind of acting like, "Oh, like look at the sun and the sky and everything like that," while Carlton and old boy, their business partner, is clearly keyed in on like, "Yo, this chick is like she putting it out there like." And Will's like, "Nah, nah, nah," like I'm like, "Come on, give me a break." Like, let's be real here. Let's be real here. But I wanted to just say that because, yeah, I mean, let's jump into the senior thing. Obviously, she selects Will. Well, even before that, they had the awards, and to Jossie's enjoyment and excitement, Will was voted, the MVP of the senior class, and an old girl with the that's going to UPenn had to let it be known that I voted for him. So again, just more adding more of her thirst for Will to the entire situation. So yeah, yeah. As Dave said, I mean, I guess I wouldn't say cheat. I would say I would
Yeah, it's dicey
say
because they had like a pass, quote unquote, for something to happen, but it's like it was testing their relationship. So cheat in a way, but also not like behind your partner's back. If that it's a weird middle ground.
yeah, yeah, and like the only real thing I had an issue with throughout that whole thing was, and we find this out obviously after the lock-in, was like Will was like, I didn't do anything. And like Carlton was like, well, why did you tell Lisa that? And he was just like, well, I was in the moment. I'm like, dude, like there you go with the emotions once again. Like, and then I'm pretty sure next episode 8, he's gonna be apologizing on some like I'll never do it again for like the 50th time, 100th time this series or whatever. So that was the only thing I had an issue with. Like I thought it was kind of cute yet cliche. The guy that Lisa got paired up with,
Hmm.
on all these random facts that he remembered because he had a genuine crush on her back in the Gap and
Hmm.
stuff like that. And that made Lisa kind of like lower her defenses because when she walked up in there, she was really standoffish, like arms crossed, you sit over there, I'm
Hmm.
over here, or whatever. So she stuck to the plan until the plan was no more. And like I said, like the dude just asked for a kiss, he didn't ask for nothing else. And as y'all pointed out, they have a pass for it. For I mean, I don't know how much that pass gives, but
Yeah.
I guess I can see it from both perspectives as an adult.
Hmm.
Looking at this situation, I'm probably like, just a damn kiss. Like, but as a kid, like I could understand in that moment, like feeling like betrayed,
Yeah.
like I lost my best friend type backstabbing. So yeah, yeah, I get it. I just don't think Will handled it correctly. And like as we know, he's gonna apologize. They're gonna get back together, and that'll be the end of it.
We'll see. We'll see. Um, and I think it's interesting because before the high school lock-in scene, there is a scene with Jazz. He's back, and he is basically kind of going through his own breakup, right, with Hillary and that sort of thing. And he's trying to talk to the kids about, not sort of pitting their hopes on one person, too strongly. And so this is kind of a sort of little foreshadowing, if you will, I think, to what's going to happen later. But there's a lot of talk about, do you stick with your high school sweetheart or not? And I know people who've stuck with their high school sweetheart, and good for them. It doesn't happen very often. It's not rare that usually it's rare that stays together that long, but interesting when it happens.
Yeah.
But he is still longing for Hillary, and it's funny that they're both in the same sort of farmer's market, I guess, if you will. I don't know if
Yes,
Jazz
and
was selling something.
speaking to that, I was a little interesting. I don't know how appropriate it was that like Viv and like Ashley are like, Jazz, talk to Jazz. I'm like, yeah, her fiance died like a couple months ago, and they kind of already about to throw her on another guy. Like that, it's like the timeline is like so spaced out, like Nolan be saying, but like it really in reality is not that spaced out. Like it's been like some months since her fiance died. I don't know if fiance dying in like even
Been less
six
than a
to 9 months
year.
later.
It's been
Yeah,
less than a
less than a
year.
year. It's like, what's up with Jazz? Like, and I get from a show perspective, they need them to be on the track somewhere, since that's the relationship the show decided to invest in. But from a reality perspective, I'm like, Viv's like, I mean, Jazz is like, what about Jazz? I'm like, bro, if my fiance died, or my not fiance, hold on now, husband. So if my
Husband,
wife
yeah.
died and they're like, and a couple months later, they're like, yo, what's up with Shorty? I'm gonna be like, what's going on? I just got back grieving from Costa Rica.
Right.
Like, what's
Right.
going on? But they gonna try to get Jazz and Hillary as end game. I see where they're going with it. But I would just thought it was interesting that like even them talking now, I'm not sure how appropriate that is. But if it's been like 2, 3 years, definitely. Even 2 years, okay. But it's been like some months.
Yeah, yeah. All right, getting back to the kids' storyline, we did kind of jump ahead to the kiss and everything like that. But we did forget to mention, because we have to, because Will Smith is perfect in every way, but he's designated as the MVP of the class for 2025, of course. Although this
Yeah.
is different. This isn't honor grad or whatever. This isn't valedictorian or even salutatorian. It's a completely different thing that I guess
No,
exists
he
just in
he
this
he
school.
speaks. Yeah, but he said he has to make a speech, remember?
He has to make a speech,
Yeah.
but that's
Yeah.
Yeah.
not, he didn't, he's not a valedictorian, he's not a salutatorian, he's just
Okay.
the MVP, which I guess is a thing that
Uh,
exists
I never heard of it, but okay.
I
in
think
this
you're
school
right.
anyways. They got to give him a chance to give a speech. They knew he wasn't going to be the valedictorian or the
Yeah.
salutatorian, so they made up the MVP for this particular school just so he can give a speech.
Yeah.
But it's like now that I'm thinking about it and I'm just, I'm being critical just for critical sake. Like it's like the only people that voted or seemed to have voted for this MVP was like the minorities and blacks in the school. Cause like I don't remember like I know it was a senior lock-in, but I feel like most people that they highlighted the lock-in was like the black students. And I don't know, like I
They
feel
showed the rest of they just
they
only
did.
focus on obviously the cast, but I
Okay.
remember the background. You see him clapping and stuff
Okay.
occasionally.
I'm just making sure because I'm like, I know they said it's a senior lock-in, but then I'm like, I feel like it was kind of like the party that they had early in the season when they got busted at the Blacks's party, where it was just like mostly just the black students. Then I'm like, was this similar to that? So yeah, I don't mean to get
I think
completely
this
off
is a
rails.
school-wide thing. I don't think this was a
Yeah,
minority thing. I
yeah,
don't think.
okay, okay. Yeah, because you had Carlton's ex clearly hating. Oh my God, we forgot about that. Carlton and Amira getting voted for the
I
best
don't know.
couple.
Oh yeah, that
Like,
was interesting.
are you kidding me? Like they've been together 2 months. What? What?
Anything's gonna happen in this show plot wise for the plot.
Like I'm just like, please give me a break. Yo. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I think that's what spurred them to. We haven't gotten to it yet, so I'll let us progress. But I think that's what spurred them to what they try to do later on in the night and stuff. But
Yeah.
yeah, that Carlton and Amira, just Amira in general. I'm just over the forcing of this
And
chick
it's
at this
funny
point.
because I mean we could even get into the marriage thing now because I know we don't got too much time left, but it's like
Yeah,
earlier in the
let's talk about it.
season, earlier in the months, like a couple months ago, Carlton was done with Amir. He said, I'm over her. I'm with this new shorty. He said, I'm not trying to be reminded of the past. Now they about to get married a couple months later. I'm like, oh,
Mhm.
it's just the timeline is just so iffy for me. It's like,
Well, they were going to get married that night. if it weren't
that
for
night. And a couple months ago,
the
he was over.
I know, right? Yeah, yeah. They tried to set it up as, oh, I guess we're meant to be together, but man, when they went to that wedding chapel and were about to get married, I was like, no, don't, no. Anyways, but then of course, they're saved by the bell. I would say saved by the
Yeah,
the phone ringing, and of course, saved by Hillary going into labor because we all knew, oh man,
No,
everything's going to
Vivian.
culminate with labor,
so
and
I guess it's been 9 months. I guess. Well, not. I guess it has been about 9 months since the
Yeah.
beginning of the season. So in 9 months, he was over her to marriage. Husband dead to new guy talking to. Um, yeah, some interesting developments.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But we end up with, of course, Hillary going into labor, and then Iris showing up,
Not
helping out.
Hillary, Viv.
Vivian, yeah, going into labor. Hillary go into labor next episode. She'll get pregnant, to go through the whole thing, with Jazz's baby, and or maybe the baby of the dead guy. I don't remember, But anyways, um, we find out that Will lied about the cheating. So everything kind of comes to a head. And guess what? The baby is born. It's not a boy, but it's actually a girl named Nicoletta, which Phil, which Will still calls Baby Nikki, tying back to the original show. What do we think about the new baby in this whole like birthing
uh,
sequence?
Yeah, I mean,
uh,
it's a new addition. Shout out to the Banks family. Mirroring the old show. It's a girl that the doctor, I mean, the cake being wrong is such a TV thing. Like, gender reveal was off. Does that really happen? Just do one job and it's 50-50 options, but I mean 50-50 chance. But hey,
How they
they
explain
have a
that? I
child.
oh,
forget how they explain the
They
gender
said
being wrong.
the gender reveal mixed up the cake, so they got the boy cake instead of the girl cake.
Ah, yeah, okay. That happens.
and then let's not forget
Does it?
Jeffrey
Like, it's
showing
like
up. Let's
Jeffrey
not
shows
forget
up.
Jeffrey showing up to meet his
Oh yeah, right.
goddaughter.
Jeffrey's back in the family.
Yep.
Uh,
Yep. So
I thought they're just two good episodes. They're wrapping it up. They're getting the storylines done, and
Yeah. Wasn't bad. Yeah. I don't think the episodes, I think the episodes were fairly better than some of the past seasons where it's literally hard to get through. I wouldn't say these are hard to get through. It's just those still those writing choices that make us sigh a little bit. But yeah, I'm curious how they're gonna wrap it up in the finale. Super curious.
oh yeah, one more episode, gentlemen
that's
and
right.
any ladies watching. Only one more episode.
That's right.
Yep.
So
We'll
One
talk
since
more.
about
I
we'll talk about
well,
the last
Dave,
episode, and
have
then
you
we'll
seen
talk
it,
about.
Dave?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Oh, Dave. Okay. Well, I guess Justin, you have any
I haven't seen it, but prediction wise,
yeah.
man, I don't know, man. It's the last they have a lot to wrap up. Feel like Jazz and Hillary gonna get together. Um, Will's gonna do something incredible, and he's gonna just be hailed as the second coming again.
Yeah, he's gonna get like a moving MVP speech at the
Yeah, they gonna yeah
graduation. Yeah, that's gonna be something. That's probably what's gonna make him and Lisa get back together. Like
yeah
he's probably gonna mention something like subliminally that she's gonna pick up on, and then they gonna show her in her seat in the
yeah
auditorium, like smiling and everything. And yeah, it's probably gonna be something along those lines. I don't know about I don't know about Hillary and Jazz hitting it off, but I think they will be on some like French. Like I said, I think a lot of things are going to be left up for us to interpret. Probably Will's mom and dad is going to be there. Probably the real Will Smith is probably going to show up, and I don't know, be a guest speaker at the graduation or something, or maybe he's a cousin that comes. I don't know. Um, But yeah, I would say Will is definitely the real Will Smith is definitely going to be in this last episode in some capacity. He might be the taxi guy that takes Will to the airport. he might he might be that guy. I don't know. So So
But it's
yeah, I
funny because
think
Will Smith, has he ever done TV? Oh, obviously he's done TV, but like in the past like 10 years, I don't know if he's appeared on a TV show. So it will be pretty revolutionary.
yeah,
All I'm gonna say
yeah.
about episode 9 is everyone dies. Just kidding.
Oh yeah.
It's a
Roll
massacre.
credits.
It's a
Roll
massacre.
credits. Like
That's right.
Will's light shines so
And it
brightly
happens
and
in
it
the
just
opening five
scorched
minutes, so you
everybody.
have to spend the rest of the episode just decompressing from the deaths of every single main character.
Oh
It's
my
crazy.
God.
Will Smith has not appeared on a TV show since 2007.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it'll be an exciting final episode, which we'll talk about very soon. So be sure to tune into that. Any last words about these 2 episodes before we sign off, guys?
No, I mean, like I said, solid episodes. Let's see how they end it.
That's right. That's right. All right, guys. Cool. Well, for Jossie and Leon, I am Dave, and this has been Saved by the Bell. The BEL-AIR After Show, episode 6 and 7, 6, 7, 6, 7 of season 4. So see you all next week when we talk about the final episode of the entire series. Bye, everybody.
All right, see y'all.
Peace.